Hi everybody, Katoon back with another video, and I'm shooting from my phone, with a wireless microphone by the way, because I have an interesting problem that I'm trying to work through. So as you guys know, I really enjoy working on my RC ship, and I'm constantly trying to add new things to it. I'm constantly trying to make it better, but I've run into a small problem a little bit today, and I'm still working on the problem, so maybe there'll be several stitched together videos here. I've added lights, I've added a cooling fan, I have sound playing from one of those little Bluetooth speakers that play sound off an SD card, and now I'm trying to add smoke, but not an actual smoke generator. Let me explain. The problem with smoke generators is that they need fuel, they need a wad, and then they need electrical energy, basically to burn the fuel and everything. And being that this is a wooden ship on the inside, that didn't seem very safe to do. So then I discovered that there are these, and I don't have one on hand, I'll show you in a second. I discovered there are these little humidifier atomizer thingies that just use simply water to create a mist, okay? So I bought a couple of them, and I have a whole unopened pack of them for experimentation for science. And I've been playing with it all day, and while it works, the problem is that when I go to turn on the cooling fan, it sucks all the mist back into the ship. So I'll show you what I've got so far. So I flip her down, and you can see I have the atomizer. I'm using one of those little old like pill bottle thingies. It was small enough fit. I removed 2 beams. I pushed the speaker back, and this is now the smoke generator section of the ship. Now the problem is that obviously with that is the rest of electronics. So everything's exposed. You know, there's the whole back part of the ship, and of course the battery pack for the lights is not plugged in because I was doing some testing. I moved the receiver, bunch of stuff. So there's a lot going on inside this thing. To help direct the smoke, what I did was I lined one of the inside of the smokestacks with tinfoil, which seemed to work pretty well. I just felt that tinfoil would be the best conduit material to use to direct the atomizer up and everything and direct where I wanted to go. But as I said, because this is basically exposed to the rest of the ship, when the smoke goes out this stack, it gets sucked in because the fan is rotating and is pulling air up through here, pulling fresh air in through here. Now I have thought about just saying forget it and just flip this around and have it just blow air in, which would actually push the smoke out more. That's probably a possibility I might end up having to revisit or just go ahead and do. Not my favorite because unfortunately the other part is that under here there's a lot of wiring for the lights and stuff. This is my solder job, and I may have to just do it anyway and have the fan face a different direction. So that's something I'm thinking about doing. Go into my office here and I'll kind of show you a little bit about what I was working on. So I've got lots of parts. I've got I was experimenting with directing the smoke, maybe using like a rod, but then this collected too much condensation. I thought about using a straw, same problem, condensation. These are extra atomizers that I've got. These are glue sticks and then a whole unopened box of atomizers that are unused. And so just lots of things that I have on hand for extra testing, which is great. Oh, and of course, tinfoil, very useful. Tinfoil is very useful. So I'm kind of really trying to DIY a lot of this stuff to come up with some sort of solution. I may stitch, as I said, several videos together as I develop solutions and everything. But for right now, that is what I'm working on. And this is gonna be lots of testing. I have a friend who's been very helpful via text message, helping me develop some answers and stuff. As I said, maybe I just need to kind of face the music and just have the fan blow air in. My original reason for having the fan suck outwards was because it was right over where the motor is, and I was trying to keep the motor cool. And I thought that if I could draw, hot air naturally rises, so I thought if I could pull that hot air upwards through that fan, it might be fine. And little did I know that I would think to try to add a smoke generator later, which is now of course causing problems because air. And the other thing is that the atomizer has to have air to breathe. So I can't just stick the atomizer up into the smokestack, because if it doesn't have air to ionize, it's gonna, doesn't create the same kind of smoke effect that I'm really looking for to really sell that effect basically. So, as I'm sort of talking out to myself a little bit, I might have to just flip the fan around, just heat up the spots that I hot glued and just flip the fan around, melt it, flip it around somehow, and then re-hot glue it back to the fan assembly, or not the fan assembly, but to the cutout, which unfortunately the problem is that I also need to find anchor points Actually, yeah, you know what, that is a problem. I'm looking at the underside of this, and I'm realizing this is a problem. Wow. I didn't think this through.
It was in this moment that he knew he fricked up.
A lot of my projects I don't think through. I do a lot of things on the fly. I'm making this up as I go along. There is no plan to this at all. I am just making it up. So, that is how I'm spending my, well, at the time of filming this, Thursday. So anyway, I will just come up with something. All right, so I've done some testing. I have done some reorienting. I believe I finally fixed my problem and it still looks really cool. So I'll now flip the camera around. And so basically what I've done is I have reversed the fan. It now blows into the ship, blowing cooler air onto the components because there's the motor and everything down there. And it also passively helps the smoke come out a bit more, which is pretty cool. Now the interesting thing is there's definitely some air pressure going on, because if I go to take the back of this off, it kind of sits, you know, ambiently a little bit. Of course the AC is on, so it's not quite showing what I want, but if I put it back on, you can see that there's a lot more, you know, a little bit more airflow and everything. Yeah, that is how I have fixed my problem. The lights and everything still work. Of course, this is just on, I don't have the full system on right now. The nice part is that I designed this ship to be basically completely modular, so I can basically unplug different components and stuff, and I'll go ahead and show you how I have this mounted. I'll be very careful. And this is basically our mounting system now. So we've got the controller board hot glued in. We've got our little reservoir, we've got our battery in here, and also we've got our fuel. So basically the process would go that I would take, I'm trying to do this one-handed, I would take my syringe, fill it up with water. I could go over to the ship here, and I can basically fill the reservoir with water, and it just keeps burning. And then of course I'd have to, well, not burning, but smoking. Or misting rather, I should say. Now the thing is that I don't know how fast it would actually go through the mist. That's something I have to try long term when I have it out sailing. And the other problem is that now I've created a weight change in the ship. You'll have to see what the weight distribution is going to be according to this level here. So I'd have to put it in the water as well. One of my friends is designing and I don't know if I mentioned this, one of my friends is designing a fin system that'll be a 30-degree angle down this way to kind of help stabilize the left and right axes of the ship. But I think that once that is installed and set up, it'll help stabilize the ship a lot better, especially in the wind and windy conditions. But I'll put everything back together again, and then pull this. We have the effect that I want. We still have the sound system, which is now more forward in here. Again, weight is going to be interesting. I'll have to see how that's all affected. And I'll just test those kind of off camera and a non-vlog style. But yeah, this has been a fun project. I've literally been at this like all day, just hammering away at it. And I think I designed something that I like and I'm proud of. And hopefully, I don't know, maybe there'll be more developments. This RC ship is like reaching like the max of what I can do with it. I don't know how much more I can shove into this thing. At some point I'm gonna have to build a new RC ship with all these things, but I'm gonna take all, the cool part is I can take all the lessons that I learned and just apply it to the next, you know, the next project, the next ship that I do and everything. So yeah, please subscribe if you like this kind of content. I've been streaming as well. Just, this has been sort of like my project car at the moment. So thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in whatever random project I work on next time. Bye. Alright, hi everybody. So I know I had just ended my video, but I actually made a new development. Took an idea and I mounted the air humidifier atomizer inside the little pill bottle cap. So let me go ahead and flip my, show you. So basically now, this is how it's all mounted. Much better than before. And I've even got a little fill port hole that I can take my little water syringe and like squirt water into the little reservoir down below. So it's a much more elegant solution. It keeps the water from spilling over into the ship because now it's actually closed off and everything, and it's still mounted really well. So then when you go to close it, like so, still has the same effect, still looks really good. Let me turn the fan off. kind of like sits a little bit more like that. And then when you go to turn it back on, and it pushes it. Oh, of course, I think it's running out of water, so it doesn't look quite as nice. Yeah, that is basically my new solution. I think this works a lot better. I kind of nicked myself trying to do some of this, but hey, price of DIYing. So if you guys made it to the end of this, at the end of the video, and then the extra ending, thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys next video. Bye.